save them for the break. Our next speaker is Jia-Ching Ying, and he's talking about FrauDetector, a graph mining-based framework for fraudulent phone call detection. Thank you, Jia-Ching.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jia-Ching Ying, and I'm a postdoc at Jiao-Tong University in Taiwan. And today I would like to talk about the FrauDetector, a graph mining-based framework for fraud phone call detection. This is the outline of my presentation. First, I will give you a background, then I will talk about the hit-based model for trust value learning, then I will talk about the fraud detection, then I will give you the experimental result and conclusions. And in our daily life, fraud activity can be seen everywhere, such as the telecommunication networks and online banking and e-commerce. And the fraud phone call is increasing rapidly with the development of modern technology. As a result, the millions of people suffer terribly with the fraud phone call. So to protect people against the damage caused by the fraud activity, many anti-fraud mechanisms have been proposed. And we can find that all of anti-fraud mechanism for the telecommunication more or less rely on the cloud annotation made by so they just try to make the cloud to annotate the phone call the fraud, then broadcast the message to each user. So based on the mechanism, a new breed of smartphone application for anti-fraud phone calls are proposed, such as Whoscall, pin drop, and true caller. And this kind of application rely only on the principle annotation by cloud. However, not everyone is willing to annotate the fraud phone call. So we call this problem time lag in fraud detection problem. But fortunately, such anti-fraud fraud application make collecting the record of telecommunication much easier. So we can build a fraud detection model through mining these communication logs. So we cooperate with the Whoscall and collect the data from their users, and and to build the fraud detection models. And please notice that due to the Android privacy, so we don't have the one-to-one mapping from the user and the phone number. So that is we don't have users' phone numbers. So we just can formulate the record as the bipartite graph. Okay. So at first we follow the traditional fraud detection manner to formulate the fraud detection problem as the binary classification problem. However, we immediately encounter a huge problem. Because of the serious the class imbalance problem occurred in this data set. So the classifier-based model cannot work well in this data set. So it is desired to find another way to detect the fraud phone call. And based on our observation, the communication time of fraud phone call is very short. So we assume that in the context of telecommunication network, an experienced user would not have long-term telecommunication with frauders. So we can adopt the HITS model and perform on the telecommunication network to learn the trust value of each phone numbers. So here we treat hub value as users' experience, and then we treat the authority value as the trust value of each phone numbers. To do so, the crucial problem turns to how to build a network which can reflect the user's telecommunication behavior. So we propose the user to phone number network, GPU. And the GPU is a bipartite graph in which the one partite say is Whoscall user, and the other one is the phone number. And if there is a call log in the record, and we will build an edge from the caller to receiver. And then we can perform his model on this graph to learn the trust value. So the remaining problem is how to assign the weight on the edge. So based on our assumption, the experienced user would not have long-term telecommunication with frauder. So we can use the total call duration as a weight to and assign the weight of links. For example, in the call log, we can find that the phone number P2 have call to the user 4. So we can calculate the duration of these two logs and use the summation of two duration as the weight on this edge. But this kind of manner we will affect by the call frequency. So we propose another weighting function, the average call duration. We just divide the total call duration by the call frequency. And we also think the call frequency is a very important feature. So we propose the third weighting function, call frequency, to weight the age. Okay. So now we have several kinds of weighting function, and then we also have the telecommunication network. So we can adopt the weighted hits model on this network to learn the trust value of phone calls and the experience value of users. And besides the call log, the Whoscall also can collect users' contact book. So we can find that there are many phone number does not occur in the user's contact book. So we can eliminate the age which do not occur in the user's contact book to avoid implicit telecommunication behavior. So we can produce the contact book to phone number graph, CPG. So we also can use previous mentioned weighting function to weight this graph, and we also can perform the his model on this graph to learn the trust value and the experience value. So after learning the trust value, we have users' experience and the trust value of phone numbers. So we can use the K percentile of the distribution of trust value as a threshold to examine whether the phone calls are fraud. So in this example, we can calculate the expected trust value of this unknown phone number, and by the experience value of users, and we can examine the expected trust value is larger than the threshold, and we can classify it into the normal or fraud. So now I would like talk about the experimental result, and we collect the data via Whoscall in August 2014 in Taiwan, and we extract 70% data as training data, and remaining data as the testing data. And since we have proposed 2 kinds of graph and 3 kinds of weighting functions, so we have eight kinds of fraud detection model. And first, we compare this is 8 kinds of hit-based model, and we can find that this is model can achieve highest precision while we set the threshold as the 30 percentile. And consider the F major and RC curve. The CPG with call frequency is the best model. So we use the CPG with call frequency to represent our proposed measure. And then we compare our measure with the class-based model, and we can see that the hit-based model significantly outperform the class-based model. Although the hit-based model costs more training time, and the training time is also still reasonable. So in this paper, we have proposed a fraud detector for detecting the fraud phone calls, and the call test of our fraud detector is transfer the problem to the trust value learning. And in the proposed fraud detector, we consider 2 kinds of telecommunication graph, the CPG and UPG, and to weight these 2 kinds of graph, we propose 3 kinds of weighting function, and through a serious experiment, we can see that our model is best model for fraud phone call detection. Thanks for your attention.
Any questions? Oh.
How do you address class imbalance issue in your case? You say class imbalance issue is a problem because you have only few fraud activities. Fraud data.
Because we use the hit-based model, right? So so many normal phone call will not have the intersection with the fraud phone call. So it inherently can be solved by hit-based model.
Okay.
My question is like, so the number of phone calls is huge, like billion, so now, but the training time is only, I have seen very small amount of time in seconds, like 131. So how it is possible that you train in very small amount of time, so huge number of phone calls? I can repeat. So the number of phone calls, that the statistic that you have shown is huge.
Yes.
But the training time is very small.
Yeah.
I mean, how it is possible that like only 130 seconds you can finish all the trainings? It's very surprising. Like how it is possible to do the training in this very small amount of time?
Maybe in the future we will use the parallel computing on this task, but right now we cannot solve this problem.
Yeah, perhaps we can discuss this out of session, but it's a good question. Thanks. We'll hold off the questions now. Feel free to come down the front and ask them out of session. This finalises the session. And let's thank Che-Wei again. Thank you.